This is for Kenya, so you can pop off, Kim.
You said this is for who? Kenya?
Yeah.
He recording it for Kenya.
Oh, thanks. Um,
Oh,
all
you
right.
got to hear your enthusiasm too.
I know she knows I know. All right, all right, all right. Okay, so US 30. Can y'all see my screen?
Yes,
Okay. All right, so this is my thoughts on US 30, that it came down to this order block. As we can see, tapped into it. What I know about US 30 is US 30 always usually comes to the wicks. I know we trade the order blocks and maybe sometimes 50% of the order blocks, but what I know about 30 is it normally comes to the wicks. So once I go down to, as Sean was saying, it is doing a little consolidation here. Well, let me just take that out. So I've marked up the high and the most current low. I mean, most current high and most current low. So I am, and then when I look here on the daily, there is a there's an order block where price is currently approaching. So I'm expecting from where current price is now to come up. That's about maybe 200 pips at least to come into the wicks. I'm hoping to see that it breaks, gives me a break of structure here before it drops back down. I fibbed it up to from this high to wherever this is going to go. I'm just going to put it at the top of this order block. The 78 is around the area where it would give a swing low. And you see I marked up this one. So I'm expecting a swing low somewhere around here. For the buy up to let me go down to the 12-hour. So if I'm just going to put it to 78 below. I'm just going to put it below there for now. I'll narrow it down. So if it goes up to this order block here, we're talking about 1,100 pips, a little over 1,100 pips.
Sweet.
And that's all I got. That's all I got. Any questions?
Oh, no questions. By the way, I agree with your assessment, especially when you said you think it's going to go up about 200 points to the liquidity above from where it is right now. Some asshole, or excuse me, I know we're being recorded. I had somebody tell me that it's probably only going to go up 50 points. I don't agree with that.
No, that's not. And 50 is like, right. Yes, no. I would say somewhere up in here.
But I can see the cautionary tale of stopping in that
at least
area.
150.
Yeah.
At least 150.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 100. Yeah.
Yeah, because US 30 always gives 150 or more.
Cool.
It's going to run that liquidity though, bottom line.
This liquidity right here.
Yeah, it's going to run that. It's probably going to go higher than that highest wick right there.
Yeah, I wasn't sure because, well,
Well,
I was
the up
thinking
move is
because
gonna
that,
run anyway. You know, it doesn't matter if it's ran before it falls or not. The up move is gonna run that liquidity. I mean, the market is gonna push up.
correct, because this is right now is a protected high. Right now, it's a protected high. So I think it may just,
I don't think you should get caught up on how high it's going up. You know, I think the move, if you go to the daily, it's a bullish order block. So
Mhm.
really, we're just waiting for it to pull back before we trade it up. You know, I mean, you
Yeah.
can trade it down. That's cool.
Yeah.
The move is a bullish move. I mean, we know it's going to go up.
So Kim,
all those highs.
Kim, can I ask a question? So
Mhm.
on US 30, because it's a bullish order block, right? And so you have your entry. So okay, I see where you feel. Never mind. Because I was looking at the bullish order block and I'm like, okay, would I wait for my entry? But I see where you got your entry at. But I was wondering, why wouldn't we wait to the
No, we should wait because yeah, we should wait for some kind of structure to form. I just put it up here because of this order block right here. Because it's on the daily. I'm just waiting for it to come and create and show me on the lower time frame a break of structure and then a retracement for the sell down.
You're gonna do the sell down as well, or just do the buy up?
You try to get me in trouble, Sonia.
No,
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do the sell down. I'm probably gonna do the sell down.
Because I don't know how to trade US 30 well, so that's why I was looking. Because I would just do the buy because I don't look at this pair at all that much.
Yeah.
Trade
So-
just like you would trade any other pair.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
But I suck on retracements. So if it's a bullish order
True.
block, then
Yes.
for me,
So
I would have to wait.
I'm gonna recommend.
Here's the only thing I would say about you sucking at retracements. I think you probably suck at them because you do them in pairs, which the time length is so long and it becomes hard to determine.
I think I know why we suck at retracements. And I'm saying we because I'm on the 5 o'clock call and I'm standing by my girl, okay?
Okay.
Well, why do y'all suck at the retracements then?
Because when we're looking at order blocks, we are assuming that it's going to happen, right? We're not looking, we're taking what we think is going to happen versus what we see is happening.
Oh, okay.
So,
But I disagree with that a little bit, Kim, because remember we've moved past just saying, okay, it's a bullish order block, what we think it's going to do. So I think we've moved past that, and then we went down to lower time frames. I'm like, okay, well, it still should, we know it has to retrace, right? But sometimes,
but we're not identifying we know it's going to retrace, but we're not identifying the break of structure and waiting for the pullback before the retracement happens. That's what we're not doing. That's what
Are you guys, looking at the liquidity and the imbalances? Are y'all finding that?
oh, absolutely.
yeah. We look at liquidity and the imbalance.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess you guys know why you're not successful doing it. And to be honest, I'm not successful doing it in anything but the indexes myself. But I think it's because you get confirmation one way or another a lot sooner than you necessarily do on a pair. But that's just my opinion.
Do y'all trade US 30 all day, or do you trade it for just a certain time period? But I think Will's team, they just trade it in the morning and that's a wrap.
Yeah, I trade it however long it takes to get stopped out or to hit TP. Or
Okay.
sometimes it hasn't necessarily hit TP, but if I look down and I see that I'm $200, $300, $400 up, you know, I just, you know, I close it because, you know, I don't want it to retrace and I look and maybe I'm stopped out of the trade or I'm down $50 or $100. So, but it just kind of depends on how long that takes. Very few times does it hit TP for me. There was one time where it hit TP before I went to work and I was shocked and kind of pissed, but you know, that's generally how I do it. So I would say for me on average, I'm probably in there probably 2 to 4 hours, depending on, you know, just how long it takes for things to play out.
I definitely hold mine to my TP.
But once you have enough wins, once you get far enough in the blue, you can, I think, be more patient, you know. But if you're trying to grow your account, if you're still kind of in that mode and you're stubborn waiting on TP, I mean, I just think you wind up squandering, you know, a lot of the money you may have otherwise could have had.
So yeah, my recommendation for that part is just to set, break down your 1% into maybe like 3 TPs,
Mhm.
and then go down to the lower time frame and mark up like your TP 1, 2, 2, and 3 once you get in the trade.
Yeah, and the other thing that I probably should do, that I don't do, is if you're in there at a 0.01 lot size and you want to take a partial, you can't. You know,
No, you can't. Right.
so that's another reason why I don't feel confident in always trying to wait on it to hit TP. Now, if you trade the minis, you can. You just gotta, you know, jack up the lot size to the equivalent of like if you were trading, I don't know what you call it, I guess the fulls versus the minis, because the minis, if you're in at a 0.01, I think it's like 10 cents a pip, kind of like a pair. So if you go in the mini probably at a 0.1, then it's similar to, or it's the same as being in the regular index at a 0.01. So you can take partials, it's easier to take partials probably with less risk in the minis than, you know, say going in at a 0.3 in the full one. And if you're wrong, you know, a 0.03 is going to add up a lot quicker than a 0.1 or a point, yeah, 0.1 in the minis, if that makes sense.
But Selena, all you have to do is move your stop loss up. I mean, you don't have to take profit. You can just protect your wins with your stop loss.
That is true. But if we're talking about letting it run until you hit TP, you know, what I found a lot of times is as it pulls back, it yo-yos back and forth, it stops me out a lot of times in profit, but I didn't last until TP.
Right. I mean, sometimes that's going to happen, but you know, that's the alternative until you get an account big enough to take partials. But even when you take partials, you're still going to move your stop loss up. And if you're moving it up based on structure, then really you shouldn't get stopped out. So what I mean by that is if you have a 4-hour retracement, you know, let's just say it retraces on the 4-hour chart, then that area is probably where you need to move your stop loss. But if you've just been in a trade for a few minutes and maybe it's doing a 1-hour retracement, you're cool with that 1 hour mark, but when it retraces on the 4 hour, it's gonna go back and hit that stop loss probably.
Yeah, and admittedly, like I said, I'll be at work a lot of times, so I just move the stop loss. I don't have a chart to kind of monitor where structure is. So that is why a lot of times I'm sure I get stopped out. Because I usually never get stopped out on my entries because I place those before I go to work based on structure.
Right,
So
I got you. I'm gonna play with it.
yeah, I would say, I mean, you're never gonna get good at it if you don't start somewhere.
Yeah, I play with it a little bit. I do. I just was wondering how long y'all stay in there. Cause like I said, I know Will's team, they don't stay in there. People who trade Will strategy, they on there a few minutes a day. And I know Denise is like that too. I think, within like, what, around about 10:30 tops, she's usually out.
I think like I've watched them trade one day when I was off. And that one day, I mean, they didn't really make money, but they weren't patient enough. And I know that like Will doesn't know smart money, the way, a lot of us do. He's trying to learn it. But so if Will knew smart money and where that market was going, he would have hung out because it did move up, but it was like 10 or 15 minutes after they all got off because they didn't get the move immediately. But I knew it was going up because that's where the liquidity was. It just didn't happen quick enough. So they all jumped off, or most of them jumped off. I think all of them did. So I think that once, they kind of come online a little bit about, with price action and liquidity and all that kind of stuff. I think that, he probably makes a lot of money now, but he's probably going to make a lot more once he understands where the market is most likely to go.
I feel you.
I agree.
Thank you, Kim.
You're welcome. Your turn.
Really? Is that what we doing today?
Your turn.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Before I did go down to the 4 hour. There was of course, there's all this imbalance here. I wanted to say that once it comes down, it's probably going to come fill in here, probably bounce back up before it drops back down to
Back up.
here, which is my institutional candle. So yeah, I'm biased to it coming back to this.
So Kim, can you go to the 1 hour and see where that comes in?
Go to the 1 hour
It's right there at that swing level.
at this one here.
No,
Oh, this one here,
Yep.
the imbalance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it would take out that liquidity.
So it can tap into here and then bounce back up. Which was this order block was the move. The
Break.
well that yeah, that's what's the move. The order block that broke, that sponsored the break of structure. Yep. I agree with that.
That's a beautiful analysis, Kim. Very
It
beautiful.
is.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Selena, your turn.
Okay.
Where's Lisa at?
She's doing family stuff today.
Oh, okay.
But she did mark up
Whatever. Go ahead. Okay. I thought,
she did mark up one and put it in, she sent it to me in Discord. So, and she even gave me her login to go into her trading view.
in you?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. So she want to be a part. So don't be doing my friend like that. All right, so AU. Can y'all see my screen?
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay, so AU, I started from the monthly and went down to the different time zones. So I'm trying to make the monthly big enough so you guys can see it. So there was a monthly order block right here. So I just wanted to fib the order block to see where the golden zone was, where the 78% area was, and so forth and so forth. So for me, when I'm doing my fib, I kind of start at the top and then move down to I see where it broke that 50% area. And then I keep moving my fib down until I see where it hadn't. So this was where I marked my, did my fib from here to the bottom. And
You
I'm
marked it
sorry,
from
right here, where it says top of the down move.
Okay.
So I marked it from here. This was the 78% area. This was the monthly OB. So that's what I saw on the monthly. So for me, just looking at the monthly and not going any further, I'm like, okay, will it make it up here to the order block? Even though it's already tapped into the wick, what is it doing? So I'm not quite sure yet until I kept going down. So I'm like, okay, it could possibly retrace back up here, or it could continue to sell down to fill this imbalance here, or it could go here to this other monthly order block, but these are months, so that could take months, but that was my analysis on the monthly. So then I went down to the weekly, and I kind of did the same scenario. I marked my weekly imbalance here. I didn't pull out the GAN box here, but I did pull it out here for the 50% imbalance on the weekly. This is where the 50% is. That's just the imbalance. So when I started looking at the weekly, it started to bother me a little bit because I got these order blocks back to back. So I'm like, okay, what are we doing? So if I got two bearish order blocks back to back, most likely it is going to continue to sell. In Kim's world of what she's teaching us about the breaking the structure, and the body needs to break the structure. So it broke structure to the downside with the body and not a wick. So I'm like, okay, we look like we're still selling, but at some point it still needs to retrace up. So I'm like, we got this this weekly bearish order block here. You got a bearish order block here. So where's the retracement gonna go? Like, where is it gonna go? So I did, fibbed this bearish candle here, and it is long, so it's a wick. So here's the 78%, here's the 50%. So I'm like, okay, it can retrace up to here and go back down, or is it possibly it will trace all the way back up here to this order block that hasn't been violated yet?
Selena,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry to disturb. I wanted to ask you, where did you put the fib from where to where?
On the weekly?
Yes.
So on the weekly, I just fibbed the last candle that was a part of the order block. So I went from here
Okay, thank you.
to here.
Okay.
Let's see. All right, so like I said, I'm still quite not sure. Is it gonna continue to sell down? Or is it gonna go back up? So then the daily. So my daily has, which is considered to be a natural hedge, because my weekly has a bearish order block and my daily has a bullish order block. So this is considered to be a natural hedge. So I'm like, okay, where is it going to retrace to on this part? So on my daily, the golden zone is right here for the daily order block, and there's a 12-hour order block right here. So I'm thinking that it's going to retrace where price is now. It's going to retrace down to here and then buy up to here. So if I put my long position on, And I'm not protecting all of those daily pips because I know I got a 12-hour order block. So I'm comfortable I'm comfortable not covering all of this in my position. And so it's 45 pips. It's still a little steep, but you still can go down to make it smaller. But I see, so I lost my train of thought. So I'm thinking it could buy up to here and then eventually sell down because it still has to, let me slow down. So for the daily, I believe it's going to buy up to this area somewhere for this order block. And then for the weekly, I believe it's going to sell back down, take out this liquidity, but I don't think it's going to go past this monthly order block, this monthly imbalance. I just don't think it is. So I think if I put both positions, let me go to the
Hey, Selena,
yeah.
can you fib from that red wick at the bottom, the very bottom red wick?
Hold on a second. Let me delete some of this stuff out the way.
You can leave it. Hold on. I just want you to fib from that bottom of that red wick to the top wick of that green candle, the last two candles. Where's your 78? It'll be down there under that daily order block,
Mm-hmm.
within the wicks of that daily order block.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can go back doing what you're doing.
Okay. So, my thought process. Okay. All right. So like I said, for the weekly, I think it's going to buy up to this area. And then that is a 78%. So maybe I need to move my stop loss down a little bit further. But if I go back to the weekly for the actual sale of it, I lost my train of thought. So I'm thinking that it's going to, wrong thing. Sorry, guys. I'm thinking it's going to hit somewhere in this area, but I think I would start my hedge here because this is the 78% on the weekly. So I probably would have my hedge for my weekly starting in this area, which is inside this latest order block. And have it sell down here somewhere in this area. Somewhere like that. For a little bit more confluence, if you wanted to go down to the 12-hour, like I said, there is a bearish order block here on the 12-hour. I'm sorry, bullish order block. That what I was saying about the sale, but like Todd said, this is the 78% on the daily. So it may make sense to have a little bit lower, but that's a lot of pips. But it does make sense though, to have it this low. That's as far as I went. Let's see. But basically, that's what I got. Thoughts, questions? Did I confuse y'all? I was quiet.
I think that this this pair is a perfect example of how difficult it is to analyze the move sometimes because
so many order blocks.
Well, not just the order blocks, but if you go back to the monthly, I think that that it is showing signs of exhaustion, right?
Mhm.
You know, when the candles get shorter and the wicks start happening, you know, that does mean that it's showing signs of exhaustion.
Mhm.
But I think more than anything, if I'm looking at this monthly chart, can you squeeze it in, please? Like squeeze it a little bit, and then let's look at the bottom. Okay, so you see where this monthly, that green monthly order block you have,
Mhm.
the one that broke structure,
Mhm.
you have an imbalance that needs to be filled,
Mhm.
correct? That's what that blue imbalance is.
Yes. Mhm.
So you have a weekly order block that suggests that price is going to push down.
Right.
So I don't think that it's out of the question that we need to push down towards that imbalance. You know, I understand that there's been retracement in this candle this month, but
Mhm.
by the end of the month, we've, you know, you have it, you're saying that by the end of the week, it should push towards that imbalance, which might be perfectly correct, you know. Maybe it'll push into that imbalance. So I don't disagree with you. Go to the weekly. Okay. Whenever you have stacked order blocks like that, you see how you have those two weekly order blocks,
Yep. Order block. Order block.
and
Mhm.
then you have the daily candle that's showing a buy. It's not uncommon for them to run that first order block. So drop down to the daily where you have your buy up. I mean, me, you, and Terrence have been in trades plenty of time where we got ran, that first
Yep.
block gets ran.
Mhm.
And it's automatic liquidity if you run those highs. You see at the top of your purple, your pink box that says weekly order block, you see those two wicks,
Mhm.
two green wicks. It's probably liquidity. So I wouldn't be surprised for it to run that liquidity and tap into that weekly order block right there and push
The
down.
one at the top.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just, I mean, just something to be cognizant of. Now, the only reason I say this, like, this will satisfy a few things. If you fib that the move from that top weekly order block down to the bottom,
The imbalance or the weekly order
No.
blocks?
the one above the imbalance, I'm sorry, it has an order block right there. There you go.
Yeah, it's a daily order block, but a weekly imbalance. I'm with
Okay.
you. Hold on. Sorry.
See that 78.6 puts you right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, when I look at this, I think that it makes sense for multiple reasons. For one, I mean, if you look at this daily chart, you see a break of structure to the downside.
Mm-hmm.
What do we need to happen? We need to retest,
Retest. Mm-hmm.
and preferably to the order block that sponsored the break. That satisfies all of it. And it takes away the
Which
no.
would be this order block right here, which is also a weekly
There you
imbalance.
go. And there's your 78.6. It taps into it and it sells off. Just my because I know that the euro needs to buy up. It is all the USD pairs are probably going to be doing similar activities. So that kind of, you know, what I think is going to happen.
Mm-hmm. So let's see.
I don't want you to kill your markup. You know what I'm saying? That was not my intention.
Right.
But I just I want you to know how I looked at it, you know, just in case the market does what I think, you know.
And see, that's the thing. So, like you said, this is a natural hedge. And so even though it is a weekly
order block
for a sale, and this is where I get caught up. So it's like when I was thinking about this, should I just wait for the sale because I'm always screwing up on the hedge, but I do trade daily order blocks, but I do know that this is a weekly bearish order block. So should I do
things,
that?
man. all you can do is trade what you see. Right now you have a buy.
Right.
You don't necessarily have to cut your buy off, or you can trade. If you don't feel comfortable, you can close it out when you go to bed.
Mhm.
All I'm saying is, let's say you don't trade the initial move,
Mhm.
and the market starts approaching, it still has to go through a bunch of bearish order blocks to get up there to that weekly imbalance,
Right.
right? It's a bunch of,
Right.
I see 1, 2, 3,
It's
3.
a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to kill all that noise. So I'm not suggesting that this is going to be a smooth ride. All I'm saying is, when you go to do your analysis, or you go to look at your setups, I think it's just prudent to kind of have an understanding of what you expect to happen based on the structure. If you just look at this chart and you kill the red and green candles, right?
Mhm.
And if they're all black candles, you're saying this broke structure to the bottom, to the lower side. It needs to come back up and retest. So
Correct.
that's what I see first, right? Like it needs to retest.
Mhm.
The retest will hopefully take it to that order block that we expect that it needs to go to.
Mhm.
I mean, that's how it works.
Because this is the order block that broke structure to the downside.
Right.
So now you have this order block that looks like it may be the one that's going to retest the order block that broke to the downside and take it back up to this order block.
Right. Now, let's say it falls a little short and it stops in your weekly order block area.
Mhm.
No, there are a couple of order blocks in there. I mean, it's not like, I wish I had more influence over the market, but you just kind of have to look and see where it makes sense for it to stop. It could stop right there in your weekly order block and push down, right? And
that's why I think I had it here initially, because I was like, if I get stopped out, but it's one of those things where I probably could have 2 or 3 TPs. But
well, you could, but it doesn't necessarily mean it needs to go up all in one move. It can go up a little bit, come back down, go, you know what I'm saying? Like it might just go to the weekly order block this week and push down into that imbalance, the monthly imbalance, and then take care of that retracement later on. So that's the problem when it comes to trying to do analysis further, like these further out analysis, because when you do your analysis, you in your mind, you kind of think that this needs to happen now, and it doesn't. I mean, the market could do that 3 weeks from now. It might not, like it could go up and down and engineer liquidity, but you just have to understand where the market needs to go. It's not an exact science as far as it's going to do this today or it's going to do this tomorrow. It's going to do it, and when it does it, once it gets back up there to your 78.6, you got to sell. It's on and pop, right? It's the same way with right now the buy. If this retraces to that 78.6 or just shy of that, like in that 12-hour order block, it's on and popping. You got to buy.
Right. Selena, can
As
you
far
go
as-
down to the 4-hour?
Yeah,
Yes,
as far as
ma'am.
where you're taking your buy, then you can just set your take profits based on those highs over there.
You want me to zoom in or zoom out?
I like this chart too. It's going to be hard to tell. I could see a case for it to wick below that 4-hour wick just for liquidity purposes, but I can also see it to respect that swing low. I mean,
That's what I was going to say. This is a respected low, right?
well, the swing low is, but not necessarily that arm over there, that where that daily order block is, where you have the order block and that wick down there. That's not protected.
I think that's an optimal entry coming off that protected low. That's
Yeah.
OT.
Well, that one is. It is an optimal entry, but this is a 4-hour chart. This is where I'm talking about. You have to understand your retracements, right? That is an optimal entry on the 4-hour chart, but you better take profit at the top of it. You see where it went, the top of those bodies. You better take your profit right there, because that's not necessarily an optimal entry on the 12-hour or the daily. Every chart has to make its move. So this is where on the 4 hour, it's great. Like fib that move right there. It's probably not even a 78.6 on the 4 hour. It's probably a 60, what, 62?
The up move?
Yeah.
Yeah, fib the up move and no, not way up there where it went up and retraced.
Yeah, kind of those
Right there.
local highs. Yeah.
So it's almost, it's just past the 62, right?
Hmm.
It's in
Yeah,
between, well, actually, it's in between the 50.
it's in between the 50 and the 60.
Yeah, so see that's not even an optimal retracement on the 4 hour, but it's still a
Oh.
retracement that would have paid you.
I think by optimal, I mean, if it's in that golden zone, it's considered a discount.
But
So,
true.
all right.
But go to the, just click to the 6 hour from here without deleting anything. Go ahead, Selena. Now the 8 hour.
You're a hater.
8 hour. You got the skills. You got the skills. 12 hour. I mean, this is gonna be kind of up in the air.
I don't think you're coming back below that optimal entry. I mean, you
And you may not, but you have to put it on your chart. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So basically,
there's
this is one
nothing
of those
wrong.
pairs.
There's nothing wrong with entering where Selena says enter. But if I'm entering and going to sleep, I'm probably going to protect the 78.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't disagree.
But what 78? Because the daily 78 is here.
Well, that's the one I'm protecting. Well, the reason why the other 78 is different because we didn't measure the entire move. We just
Right,
measured the
gotcha,
red wick.
gotcha. I believe in protecting the 78, especially if I'm going to sleep. Absolutely, 100%.
So if you extend this fib up, if you grab the top of it and put it at the top of that wick right there, that green wick, yeah, then your 78's a matchup.
Mhm.
So yeah, I like the analysis.
But it's giving me those vibes of one of these ones where I think it's going to do buy up and then it just sails down. So I think, I don't know, for me, I think I would have to I don't know. I would have to decide where I'm going to put a hedge at because I'm just not quite sure.
A hedge for what? What am I missing?
That's just me right now with these retracements. I just feel like I've been.
I think it's a buy on the daily order block.
It
You buy
is.
You can buy
It
it to
is.
that next daily order block.
You're right. I agree with that. I do. And like I said, that's 100 pips. I mean, well, 91 pips. I can take that all day.
Well, gracias, Selena.
You're welcome.
Go Selena.
Elfie, what pair did you have?
Elfie's on.
Elfie like, I didn't have no pair.
Why are you calling me out?
Hey, I'll just
Oh,
ask.
so next Sunday, Elfie has a pair.
You gotta have you a pair.
I want to show y'all Felicia's because she put work into it. So let me show you hers real quick.
Okay.
If you guys don't mind. Okay, that's big as heck, and I can't make it smaller.
Wow.
Because it's not trading view, it's her
What is that drawing
screenshot.
you have on there, man?
Where?
Oh,
This right here?
that's a snapshot.
Yeah, it's her snapshot.
Look at all these lines. Oh, her
You
teeth.
know, Felicia's very detailed in her drawing. Hold on.
So basically, I mean, this is the same thing that we talked about. This looks like the same chart, you and her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do y'all see that? If you look at this chart, just like your daily, it broke structure to the downside.
Is that better?
Mhm.
Okay.
She said, why coughing?
I call for bias, change the character on the 6 hour, wait for pullback. Okay. Pull it up on your chart, NZD, USD, and let's look at the 6 hour. Change.
Okay.
I'm all about that chalk. That chalk pay the bills. The rest of it is bull crap. But the chalk, that's when you know the move is about to happen for real, for real.
I don't know what my computer just did.
Oh my God.
Listen,
Oh
Listen.
my God.
it just completely went out of my stuff.
What did? Is it working?
Yeah, hold on. It just kicked me out of my trading view. I don't know if it's because I was using, it tried to open up hers
Oh,
on my
maybe.
thing. Yeah, it completely kicked me out. So I'm on it bitte. I mean, it completely kicked me out. Right. So what am I going to? NZD, what was that pair?
NZD, USD.
Oh. All right, can y'all see my screen or y'all see something else?
We see something
We
else.
see,
We still see,
Alicia's?
oh,
mhm,
delicious, okay.
There you go.
All right, how about now?
yeah,
This is my stuff, and I ain't looked at
Go,
this.
go to
so-
the 6 hour.
Oh, okay, don't be saying, what did you got, Mark? 'Cause I
6-8.
don't-
I don't see the chalk, but okay, I do see it.
you see it? Mhm,
Where's the chalk?
yeah.
So maybe I need to do this.
Hold on. Wait a minute. She did. Hold on. I'll go ahead. Because I was gonna log into her trading view, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, I can maneuver.
Okay.
This is a 1 hour chart, but it's the same thing, right? This move right here, it broke structure. You see that?
Mhm.
Then this move here, and not necessarily on this chart, but on the 6 hour chart, it broke structure. So if I go to 6H, you're gonna see this down move that broke this structure, and now this up move that broke this structure.
Why is that a chalk?
Change of character.
No, yesterday, wasn't you saying it couldn't have red candles?
On that example that what's the name? Yeah,
Yeah, I seem to remember something like
yeah,
that.
but hers leveled out, kind of like the 1 hour did. So what you expect to see in this case is what she's saying is it needs to pull back, and you can do it your way, Sean. Or you can do it the old fashioned way. 78.6, there's an order block. This order block sponsored the break. Actually, this order block sponsored the break, really, but this is basically where you're gonna look for what to pull back and go up. That's what she's saying. And probably in Selena's case, it would be the same thing. But this right here is going to give you your swing low. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I gotta move all this stuff out of the way. That's what she's saying. And I don't disagree. I think that's about right.
What is my way?
You said what?
I said, what is my way?
Just drawing the fib and the 78.6. That's what you do. But so this is an example of chalk right here, Sean. Price went up, broke structure to the upside. Immediately, it turns around, breaks structure to the downside. You just wait for the retracement into your imbalance or your order block. You have to drop down and probably find this order block. But there's an order block right there. The price came right back to and sold. It'll be the same thing on this level. And then where you can take this prices comfortably is to this high right here. I don't know. Yeah, that's some interesting music there. But
That's a good stop loss. That's better than AU for sure.
well,
With your
again, I'm just making this arbitrarily based on this order, but I haven't scaled down. But
right.
the point is, you can see how the trade setup kind of works itself out. And it's probably going to be in line with a retracement move that needs to happen. Just like you said on yours, a retracement move needed to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I take this from this last retracement to this retracement, the golden zone would be up in this area. Let me delete this weekly move. And that's nowhere. It's really nothing compared to almost to the golden zone. So you can probably take it to the zone. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So Ty, can I just ask real quick? I'm not sure if I missed something on
did.
the 6 hour.
Yeah, go ahead. What you say? You missed something on the 6 hour? Go ahead.
I'm not sure if I did. Did you say that was a chalk or not?
It
The
is.
last leg.
It's a
Because
chop.
it's not. It is?
Yeah.
Even though that red candle is in between that little bullish
yeah.
between?
If you want to drop down or go up, you can. But it's the same as this move right here, where you broke structure to the upside and you broke structure to the downside.
Okay.
Price came back up, it sold down. And in this case, you broke structure to the downside, and now you broke it back to the upside. Price will come back down and sell. If you go to the daily, it's going to support that. You see this daily bullish order block?
Mm-hmm.
It's telling you that price is going to buy, right?
Yes.
The chalk, you can just use the chalk to figure out where it should buy from. It's just another way that you can have an indication of it. It's funny because I was this morning I was looking at the charts by myself. I like having alone time with my little charts. And when I first looked at this,
So sweet.
you got this daily order block. You got the sell down into the daily order block and it didn't react. But when you start dropping down to your time frames, you can see you have a better understanding, of what's happening. Of course, this is engineering liquidity. It might be a little Wyckoff playing out, but just like we talked about with the US 30 move, if I put my whatever you call this, if I put my fib here and wait for this entire move to play out, the 78.6 is over here, right? So there's always a possibility that it runs to the 78.6. But in this case, I don't think that it's going to push down that far, because when I went to the 4-hour, I saw the chalk, right? I saw this break of structure down and then the break of structure back up. So now price just needed to come back probably into this imbalance.
Which it did.
Right, probably into this imbalance, which that wick did to push up.
Mhm.
So all I was trying to do is try to fib and see, where this thing would come, maybe and push up.
So what fibbing here?
from
The
this
last
wick,
red candle?
yeah, to this wick, and see where the pullback would be. I dropped down to maybe the 2-hour or the 1-hour, and I couldn't find, I guess, a valid reason for this thing to keep selling. Maybe it's going to go up and sell down, but this is a bullish order block. So I was like, I need to just try to find an entry into the trade. Does that make sense?
I thought we were okay.
You
Weren't
thought-
we just on NZD USD?
Well, yeah, but I switched to GBP. Did y'all
I'm confused because I was like, okay, so USD pairs are supposed to be selling, right?
Well, hold
In a
on.
row.
Hold on.
I'm slow today. I'm sorry.
So USD pairs are supposed to be selling because of what?
Because they're the quote.
Well, I'm asking why do you say that they're supposed to be selling?
Because they're in the quote and the rates have been raised.
Okay, that's not what rates have been raised.
The interest rates,
Which interest? Whose interest rates?
the US interest rates,
They haven't been raised. I mean, they were raised last month.
right?
So you're saying this should be selling? When did
Shouldn't
NZD
it?
raise their interest rates? Elfie,
Yes.
I need Elfie to answer that.
Okay, hold up. One moment. What was that? Global rates, right? Global
Mm-hmm.
minus rates
Global rate.
.com.
Global-rates.com.
So, and let's look at more information. So now, so what, NZD?
Mm-hmm.
So they raised their rates on the 13th of this month, which
Mm.
was what, last week?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So
from 2% to 2.5.
right. So here's the deal. We can't just look at the interest rates in a vacuum, right? We can't just say this should be selling because they raised the interest rates. In a vacuum, that is true, but the economy isn't a vacuum, right? There are real world activities that are going on. But what we have to also understand as traders is this is real price action. So what just happened, Elfie, right here? Impulse
That's
move,
off. Okay,
impulse move, pullback,
yes,
impulse move. We need a pullback, right?
mm-hmm,
These candles are showing exhaustion. They're showing you, hey man, like I'm tired. I need to rest. I need to pull back. You have a break of structure. Retest that break of structure. Another break of structure. We need to retest. Right?
okay.
I mean, do you agree with that?
I don't understand why it's selling when it's like, when the rates have been raised.
Wait,
If NCD rates have been raised,
wait. You just
Okay.
said, you just told me that the USD, that this should be selling because USD is a quote,
mm-hmm,
right?
yes,
And it is, it's selling. But NZD just raised their rates, which may be the reason why it's buying. Right?
okay,
But if you, okay, I mean, we understand that those fundamentals, but when you look at the chart, where should it buy up to? Where would you expect it to buy up to?
to an order block that sponsored the break of structure,
Or maybe this imbalance, right?
okay. Yes,
Do you agree with that?
yes,
I'm asking, I'm not being a wing,
Yes,
you know,
agree.
like, so somewhere in this area, and you know, we still need to drop down and see what's going on in this area, but this area might be a good area because it has an imbalance. There's an order block right here that it
Right.
could very well go to and push down. Either way, both of these areas on the chart have some things that might need to be addressed. So as a trader, we can be cognizant that we need to watch out to see what happens in these areas. But we do have the understanding that after the impulse move, we should expect some sort of retracement, right? This thing sold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks in a row. Then you got 2 buying weeks. Now it's sold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks in a row. Maybe you'll get a buy week or two. And you know, if you think about it, 2 weeks from now, it's about time for us to raise our interest rates again. That they talking about raising them a full percentage point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, just I just want you to understand the mindset, you know, or this is the mindset that I have when I start looking at the charts. I don't look at things in a vacuum. Like I understand the fundamentals that are going on out there, like the raise of interest rates, which might have caused the price to turn around, but we need to do a retracement anyway. Their interest rates raising is just a reason that the market has to retrace. So
Okay,
once it's showing me that it wants to retrace, now I have to figure out where I want to buy it up to. And this is what I meant Saturday when I said I used to just trade retracement. Remember that, Sean? We used to throw the fib. As soon as you see this wick developing, you just throw the fib on it, and you can just trade it to that 23% line. You know, if you like, once you saw that wick, your take profit would have been this 23% line. Now we didn't know what we know now about the market, where we could trade it probably pretty safely up to the 50%, but it was about just trying to win some trades and not be greedy. So now we're going to see this market start to buy up. We don't have to know exactly where this market is going, right? And technically, you can just be patient and wait for it to reject and start pushing or showing you a chalk that it's going to go down, because you can hop in for the sale, because this is a seller's market. But if you want to take advantage of this buy move, you have an order block here, right? And you have space to where this thing could possibly buy up to. So it's really up to you and how you want to handle it. But I just went and found the chalk move, you know, to buy the thing up. That's basically all I was trying to do. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yes. Thank you.
And I didn't necessarily do this pair, Felicia did this pair, but I was just trying to explain how you can drop down and you can see what you need to see. Like you can see the chalk on the lower time frames. Even like this bias is for the buy, but you don't actually get in for the buy until you actually see what you need to see on the lower time frame. And you saw the chalk move on the, let me do the Selena, on the 4-hour, where it broke structure and then broke structure again. So Felicia was saying she's waiting for it to retrace down to where it needs to retrace to buy up after the chalk. Does that make sense? Miss Elfie? I think Elfie has left the building. Elfie? Bueller? Elfie?
Oh, I'm here. I thought my mic was still on. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Elfie said she had enough of you. Your late
Okay.
suit.
I didn't
Can
say
you
that.
see the chalk better on this time frame? No, you
Hmm?
probably can't.
Yeah, that looks better.
This is for a minute. But I switched to GBP CAD earlier because I saw the same thing in the GBP CAD. So now you understand how I got to GBP CAD, Elfie?
I guess.
Well, I mean, earlier you was like, wait, how did we get to GBP?
Right. I didn't see the switch. I just saw all of a sudden. GPI.
I was just kind of explaining what I saw on this GBP CAD.
Okay.
Does everybody see the chalk example on this chart?
Yep.
Yes, I see it.
Do y'all agree with the analogy? Not the analysis, but the analogies.
Yep.
So this has the potential to be a 1 to 23 RR. Now, it's gonna take weeks for this thing to come back up here. So it's gonna be like watching paint dry. You don't have to hold that position for weeks, but the trade is gonna play out to the upside. You know what I'm saying? You're asking me where this trade is going this week. I tell you, I don't know. You know, it might go up here. It might go up to one of these two order blocks. Once it gets here, it might bounce back down. You might get a reverse head and shoulders through here. But the point is, this market is going to push up. You know, we just broke this structure. The market is going to push up. Has a huge imbalance in here it needs to fill.
And I believe that's the 78.
Oh, if you do the fib from the top.
Mhm. I would have did it from the top, but yeah, 78, 78. It's about the same.
Yes, 78. You would have did it from this top. I don't do it from this top because you had your retracement right here.
Okay. Gotcha. But it's still that 78 is still at the order block.
Well, I agree. I mean, you know, it's close enough. All you know, however you do it, tomato. I think that this move is going to happen. And here's the kicker. Elfie, are you still on interest rate website?
I have it on my phone, yes.
So when did the CAD raise their interest rate?
CAD, let me see.
Like last week.
It's also the same day, July 13th.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I don't want y'all, I mean, just because you raise an interest rate doesn't mean you're going to get immediate action. Like the market has been cooking down. So before it can shoot down, it has to retrace. Then it can cook back down based on the interest rates. and all that good stuff. So on the lower time frame, this is a pretty awesome example of chop. You had the break instruction, then the immediate break instruction. So just like Felicia, just waiting for this thing to push down into this imbalance and then buy up. Now, how far you take the trade up, you know, it may not make it up here for weeks, you know, but if you get on this daily, I would be very comfortable taking the trade to this level and maybe finding an order block or whatever in around this range. But if you're just trading the daily, you're going to take your profits. That's take profit 1. This could be take profit 2. You could take it at the top of this candle for take profit 3. You can just take your profits at these levels. Trade management is something that you're going to have to kind of work out, you know, what makes sense for you. But the move to the upside needs to happen based off of, you know, these huge pushes down, right? If you think about this, when we broke structure here, price never really came back up to retail, right? So even if it doesn't go back up to this area, even if it just comes to this order block, right? This order block sponsored this break. We never got a retracement back up because the euro has been such a crappy currency. Elfie, such a crappy currency.
Anyways,
So now, now that this pair is prepared to buy up, you know, the telltale sign that the pair is going to buy up if I move my marking here is this wick on the daily, right?
you mean telltale sign as in swing low
Yeah.
or
Or stop run. You know, we wick below some liquidity that was over here. What date is that? April 2015. I mean, you know, this is an ITC concept where he talks about stop run lows, taking out that liquidity for a cascade to the opposite side. So the market should push up. I wouldn't be surprised if it pushed up 400 or 500 points. Now, I know that the CAD raised their interest rates, but if you think about some of the things that are out there that will affect the CAD, you know, that will be detrimental to the CAD is what? What is the CAD's economy based on?
oil.
Oil. Did you see the forecast for oil?
It's supposed to drop, ain't it, man?
Yeah, they say they're projecting oil to go back to $60 a barrel.
Is that up or down?
Way
down.
down. Way down. Oil's 100.
$90 or $100 now.
So, I mean, if you just understand the fundamentals that are going out there, you can see a case for a huge buy up.
I don't know where the projection to 60 comes from, but you know,
Well,
I think June was probably
I dropped all those every article that I read, I put in this news right here. Let me see, a truly massive rate hike on the table.
I think I read that one too. Was it Brent oil?
Let me see. Let me see if I can pull it up. I know I can probably Google it.
Okay, I see. 102 is right now.
only justification I can see for that is if we have a recession that worsens.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what they're basing this on.
So, I mean, I know we're supposed to be in one now, but quite frankly, you know, so far, it's the mildest recession I've ever seen.
You see this? Look. Somebody had a chart on here and it said the last time the oil got this high, it fell, it fell to 60.
It did, I remember.
Yeah, they like, you know how people like, this might be the next opportunity to get, to have a landslide victory. Just, I don't know. And I'm not here to act like I know that oil is going to 60. I just want everybody to understand like what's at play and how price can go from way down here when the euro is such a crappy currency and the CAD just raised their interest rates. Why is it buying? I mean, that's what people would kind of ask. And the first reason that it's buying is because it needs to retrace. But this buy could turn into something different. As the price of oil declines, it's going to buy up more, right? So that's why you would see a buy in the euro against the CAD, even though the CAD raised their interest rates. So that's just kind of some of the fundamentals behind the move. I'm not here to debate those fundamentals, but I just want to show you the move on the chalk on the 4-hour told me that it's time to buy. Any questions?
So when is the chalk going to show up on, I mean, when you get those moves, do they show up on the lower time frames first?
Well, yeah, this is the lower time frame. But
I know.
yeah, it'll show up on the 1 minute chart first.
So what's kind of the
I'm gonna shower now.
I don't know, the variation of time. Like, how long do you think before that chalk shows up on the 6th?
Man, I don't know. I understand what you're asking, but I haven't even thought of it like that. Like,
Haven't stumbled across no video where they kind of mentioned that
no,
kind of-
I don't think anybody addresses that. But like there are a bunch of people trade chalk, and I would tell you that this candle had to be the first sign of chalk, because this is the lowest point that it got, and this was a news candle when the CAD raised their interest rate. I'm sure 13th of July.
I think that was the FOMC. Ain't that what did we just have? FOMC.
No, it's the 13th. This is when CAD raised the interest rate. Alpha, you said it was the 13th of July, right?
July 10th, yes.
Yep.
That's
So
the same day that, this is the CAD, so yeah, you're right. That's that same day that we had, I think the non-farm or the CPI, whatever that report is called, it happened on the 13th.
the CPI maybe.
Yeah.
So here's the chalk on the 15 minute.
I didn't understand Sean's question though. What was the question?
He's asking what time frame, when, like, from on the 14th of July, the chalk showed up on the 15-minute time frame. It didn't show up on the 4-hour chart until now, right? Until today or this past week, right?
Let's go back to the 4-hour and look at the day.
Okay, here's the 4-hour. The chalk showed up right here. This is when it broke structure. What day is this? July 14th.
So the same day.
And the 15-minute was when? Was that July 14th too?
I thought that's what you said. Let's double check it.
July 14th, yep.
Okay, so shit.
But the move is not until the price retraces back to where you need to go. So for instance, on the 15th or the whatever this day, on the 14th, price broke structure to the downside.
No,
It broke structure back to the upside, but you had to wait for price to come back,
I was, but I then realized that it's gonna be
and this would have been your entry.
so-
See that?
Right, so that's at 9 o'clock. Go back to the 4-hour.
Let's see.
I know you're not gonna have that entry on the 4-hour, I don't think.
Well, the entry will be this week sometime.
Yeah, the oil spray.
So
Maybe
you
you
know,
already had
George-
it, maybe it's that wick right there.
the
you said
deep
what?
is deep.
It's not, this is not your entry because price is gonna push down to here.
Okay,
This will be your entry for the 4-hour. Your entry on the 15-minute would have been way down here. You'd have caught that entire move. Hopefully you'd have taken your profit, or, you know, even if you didn't take profit, you're just gonna hold it. You're not gonna hit drawdown from that entry. But
Mhm.
price should come here. This is your entry on the 4-hour. Now, if you look at the daily, you know, maybe on the daily, your entry will be up here somewhere. Like when this price pulls back today, maybe you will get in on the 4-hour. But if you don't, if you're just watching this daily chart and how we used to trade, then your entry will be up at the top of this order block, right?
Yeah,
You would have entered here. You'd have went and draw down until price hit that. Same trade, just different ways to actually see it and get in it. This is why you don't put the air and buy stop this.
When you went, for the offering, yeah.
I stopped.
I think I had like a hair, but you know,
They'll be pissed off.
yeah, I think-
Steaming mad.
Like, I really don't know how.
I've done that many times.
So one is in San Diego, the other one she lives in Utah, and one in Washington State. So I and mommy were gonna go see.
Monk, I think we can hear you, baby.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh.
Okay, let me see what else. So we talked about the CAD, GC and EC. Let me go to my trade ideas. All right, CAD Chef and NZD CAD. Yeah. Okay. These are longs. Y'all can see it. Wyckoffing in the infamous words of Felicia. It was Wyckoffing through here. You got that initial breakout, and now it came back to retest. This was your entry. Since you missed,
Spring? Is that the spring?
your spring is down here somewhere. This is your spring. But if you listen to people who trade Wyckoff, you'll know that the area of equal highs or relative equal highs is your entry. So even though this price broke out, you don't pull the air and buy stop because it's gonna always come back. So you put an enter right here still. Patient trader gets paid. So all I try to do is drop down to figure out, where the next available entry would be. And all I did was kind of base this off of Sean and Alicia's jump. I can throw my little fib on it. It's already in in zone, but I got on the 2-hour chart, I have a bearish order block. So it can push down into my entry and push it back up. Ooh, we be clubbing. Yay, yay. And here, y'all gonna see the little chop. Y'all see the chop? Break structure to the downside. Break structure to the upside. Maybe
Yep.
takes off this order block.
Yes.
Ooh, yay, yay. Hey, this is a straight winner, y'all. This is a straight winner. No loser. This is a straight winner. And all I did, this is a qualify your account right here, Slindy. You just take it to the top right here.
It's gonna go up and down and around. And
Okay.
Matter.
Need to
Yeah, once you're
try-
in the trade, you're in the trade. It's gonna reach these highs right here.
He is just not going in the drawdown.
If you think about this, Selena,
Mhm.
this is the trade that you so desired, craved, because the CAD raised their interest rate. It should be going up.
True. Exactly.
So shut up and trade. Shut up and trade. Like LeBron, shut up and dribble. This is a good trade. So I really like this trade set up myself.
What's on the daily?
Money. Money ain't nothing funny. Like it'll probably push up and push through these areas.
Oh, that looks sweet. That do look good. I do
Yeah.
like that.
It's good and juicy, hot and juicy. If you had caught this is what I mean. I was asking you, Selena, if y'all go through and look at these daily wicks.
We do. I think it's sort of like what Ken was saying. Instead of us trading in the middle, we need to trade at the bottom. So like if we would have caught this at the bottom, we could have rode it all the way up.
Well, if y'all just looked at the daily wicks, like when you see this wick take out these immediate wicks, but
Mhm.
I mean, to me, this is your key that this thing is gonna ride.
You can't do that today.
That's the key, month.
Or even after you drop me.
month.
Mom, baby.
We should be back like 4.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Then you can take it.
But the key is it came to a zone from the left for like that's where I think we get caught up instead of it. So for instance, that's on the daily, but say the top nope, because that would have been a sell down.
It came to your support zone, your support and resistance. I'm joking. I understand what you're saying.
Don't you dare.
Yeah, I listen. I understand what you're saying.
Mhm.
I just think that if you pay attention to the daily wicks, it's whenever it wicks at your daily level, you can be pretty darn sure. It's all good, Monk. You can be pretty sure that it's reacting to something. This thing right here, it came up right to your 78.6.
Mhm.
It's money. It's money, right? Like, never mind the Wyckoff that's playing out, but that was your first key. But it's still giving us 1,000 different chances of getting this trade before this up move, and we're going to catch it. We don't. I mean, so what? We didn't catch the beginning, or this 78.6 retracement, But we're finally waking up and smelling the coffee, and now there's an opportunity to make 10, 11% in this move up. So just start paying attention. Like if you're in your pair, if you get the daily wick, just kind of pay attention to what it took out. Like why did this wick need to go lower than this wick?
There's more liquidity there.
Well, I mean, obviously. So that's just a clue. This is what ICT teaches.
Yeah,
it's
and
gonna
then
run-
out those equal lows to the far left.
Exactly. And now it's going to run these highs. Like ICT will tell you that once it took out this liquidity, it's gonna go take out this liquidity. So really, you can take this trade all the way up here. You know, and oh, by the way, that's a zone on a higher time frame.
Mhm.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
You said it hit the 78 when you were zoomed in more. From where to where did you flip so you could see the 78?
Let me show you, shorty. Okay. Well, yeah. This is what I mean. Let's say you saw this move right here. What we have to do, or we have to get in the habit of doing, once we see exhaustion at the top, we understand the concept that ICT preaches about sweeping these lows. So
Mhm.
once you see exhaustion, your entry, what he always teaches is the 78.6 is his OTE, optimal trade entry, right?
Mhm.
So if you would have put your fib here, when you saw that exhaustion, you're waiting on it. Now, like, this is what I mean by anticipating the move. Now you're patient. You don't know what day, what time, you don't know any of that. But you can set your trade up to where you have a limit order here. And it comes right down and puts you in the trade right there. See that? Bing.
Mhm.
Right. That's a good example of what I do on the US 30 all the time because I got to go to work. I look where the liquidity is, and that's the exact concept of what I do. And I just protect myself with the stop.
And you can put it your stop right here under this wick.
Right.
So
Okay. So basically you see, I mean, Sean, you check for the liquidity to be taken out. That's where you place your stop order. I mean,
Yes.
your buy or your sell stop,
Yeah.
and
Buy
then
or sell,
But you
depending
put-
on the situation.
yeah, you put your limit order here. This will be a buy limit because you're
right,
anticipating
it's
the market to
bouncing.
come back and hit. Your stop loss, or in my case, my sell stop, because I'm just going to hedge it. It will be right here.
Mm.
Todd, why do I have this as a buy? I had it marked up a while ago for
What?
it to buy it on to take out their liquidity. Oh, it already, wait.
A
Let
buy
me
or a
look at the
sell.
screen again.
I
I have
mean-
it as a sale, sorry.
Well,
I have it as a
You're
sale.
right, because it did sell. You was probably right.
and what you were probably looking at is this break of structure, maybe. You thought it was going to come up, maybe mitigate this and sell back down. What you didn't know, I mean, that was always a possibility. It could have came up here, mitigated this imbalance and sell back down. But the CAD's interest rates raised kind of changed the outlook.
Okay,
Out.
okay, because yeah, I had it to take out all that liquidity sitting there at the bottom.
Well, so let me give you a scenario that will happen. You let this recession run up and the CAD's economy get, jacked up by that oil, depending on how far that oil fall, then you will get a turn in the sell, right? But the fact that they swept these lows tells you that they're at least gonna go up here and probably sweep these highs.
Yeah, it was before the interest rate. It was on 12 July. It was
Yeah.
the bearish order block there, and I thought it was going to sell down. Well, it did sell down a little bit.
If I'm not mistaken, the CAD raised their interest rate like a whole 100 points.
Healthy
100?
checking.
Okay, hold on. Canada is where is it?
First it from,
Really,
So,
this is
Kim, I want your input
Was
on this because you
one-
don't trade the news.
You're right,
uh-huh.
because it was from 1.5 now to 2.5.
yeah, that's 100 points.
Yep.
Mhm.
This is no different than what Kim's US 30 analysis was, concept wise, where
Mhm.
she has it going up to 200-ish points to that liquidity before it turns into a sell. I mean, it's just all in line with ICT where he teaches that the market runs to liquidity and imbalances.
That's what I'm saying. So if you're looking at this, I mean, and I'm trusting Todd's. I'm not doubting Todd's analysis, but for me, if we wouldn't have had this conversation, and I know CAD interest rate raised, but I also know that it wasn't doing what we thought it was going to do after the interest rate raised on a couple of the pairs. So when I look at this, I'm like, okay, it hadn't broke structure. So
I mean-
that's why I'm thinking it was still going to sell.
Well, if
At
the
least to
interest
take out
rate-
that
But
liquidity.
the Wyckoff will tell you that it's not. This is an accumulation. Once you
Right.
get a Wyckoff accumulation, you know it's gonna buy. Now, it doesn't mean it can't come up here and wick past these highs. They get wick past these highs and still sell.
I'm
I
a
hear
little-
what you're saying. I was just looking at the order block and I was thinking it was gonna sell a little bit more before it bought up. That's all.
Which order block were you looking at?
You mean like this?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it probably is gonna sell in a mini retracement.
I think it, I
Well,
think the sell is,
It did sell, it did sell down to,
it's so down here.
Yeah.
to the order block that sponsored the breaker structure.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, to the institutional candle that sponsored the breaker structure, which is the order block there up in there.
Well, there you go.
And then you got your chart too. I mean, you just have to trade what you see, you know, like,
Well, I would have lost this trade because I would
you
have
s-
sold it.
but I'm sure you see, you see something different now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And see, I know you said that's I know you said that small one was a breaker structure, but for me, because candles did not close below that,
The wick,
yeah, but candles did not close below that, that would have been my sign that.
It was
it was
mine
a buy.
too. Yeah. Yeah, ICT teaches that also.
What?
Okay, say that again, Kim, please.
You know, my breaker structure is with candle close below the wicks.
Yes.
right?
If I don't see the candles closing below the wick, and then Todd, I think it was the hour where it was an order block, where it was a bullish order block, I think. Was it the hour?
On the hour candle, on the hour chart.
No, I'm trying to think where you were on.
Maybe it's the 2 hour.
On the-
That's what she was on.
Either 3 or 4 hour. No,
No,
4 hour maybe.
it had to be. No, it was a lower time frame. I don't know why I thought it was an hour. Maybe it was the 15, 30 minute. What's the 30 minute? Were you on the 30 minute?
I don't think so, but I just don't see a case where you could see anything other than a buy.
To me, the number one sign is get liquidity. I mean, that's the number one.
So even right there, even on the 30 minute, there was even on the 30 minute, you had the break of structure, and now it's back to that order block that sponsored the break.
I agree. The break of structure happened way over here.
No, I mean closer to price.
Well, I know, but I'm just trying to understand.
No, I
what
get
she's
no, I
talking-
get that. I get that.
I'm
Maybe.
confused.
You're talking about this break of structure. and
I'm
then it's
like
back
that
to
went.
the break.
See right there where it broke above. And then came back. It's coming back to the order block.
To this,
Oh, that one. Yes. Okay, I see.
this is clearly a break of structure to the downside, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then price comes up. When I look at the chart in its totality, this Wyckoff, ever
Mhm.
since this low point, you've only got higher lows. So I
Yeah.
don't think that anybody should look at this chart and say it's gonna sell,
Yeah.
because the chart doesn't say that. Like the lows on this chart are only getting higher, they're not getting lower.
Yeah.
Okay, catch F it is.
You said what?
Catch F. Maybe I
So let me
qualify.
ask one more question on Cat Chef.
Uh,
I think I missed it. Your entry, the way you have your stop loss, what was it based off of? Even though you probably hedging, but what was it based off of?
My stop loss?
Yeah,
There's an
No, I'm not
order
hitting.
block.
I didn't do the stop loss for any hedge purposes. But
no, I'm just saying, because you know, you don't usually use
so
stop loss,
when I look-
period. So I
when
don't
I-
know.
when I look at this chart,
Okay, the 2 hour. Okay. I was just looking for the
Well,
order block.
there's an order block here, but more importantly, the structure. The structure.
Mhm.
If this pushes down and creates a lower low,
Then it's
then you lose, then the trade is not going to happen, right? The setup is
Right.
not valid.
Right.
This goes back to these higher lows. Now you might say, well, this low is lower than this one. That's cool as long as it creates a swing low,
Mm,
right?
Mhm.
And that's what I anticipate happening. Chalk. Break a structure. For me, break a structure. Order block. Let's go. Right? I mean, there are
And
1,000 different confirmations for me that works for this area. This is a buy.
Mhm. Okay.
So just, I always confuse this, and I probably should write it down for the 1,000th time. So Cat Chef, the symbol in the front is what's buying or selling. Is that correct?
Yeah, the CAD is buying because it raises, the raised interest rate.
Right, okay, that's what I thought, so, okay, cool.
can you look at
Sean, can I?
Chef JPY? Sorry, Ashley.
What's that?
Chef JPY.
Okay, we'll go to that here in a minute. I want to do NZD CAD first, since I have since I had this thing marked up. Overall down move on the weekly. All right, let's go to the weekly. So I think this was kind of like the Selena markup. I need my teacher's voice like Selena. All right. So this is basically a bearish push. All right, it's pushed down for a few months. It pushed into this order block. We getting rejection. I didn't mean to do that. So we're getting rejection. We had a break of structure. We need price to push back up anyway. So I'm looking at my weekly candles, and it's like I don't know, it's like a touch and go that you see these airplanes do, right? So just like when the daily chart wicks below, the weekly chart wicked below. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
So we just took out liquidity. At the bottom side of this, we took out all this liquidity.
Mm-hmm.
So what I need to happen, what I need to see happen is what? Come on,
A swing low.
Right. That's right, it's a swing low. But if I just throw my fib on here.
So now you're just flipping the last candle.
Well, I did because it's a weekly candle. But
Mhm.
the point is, if it goes up and it retraces, I should get my optimal trade entry, right?
Mm-hmm. For the swing low.
Right, and it should create the swing low.
Mm-hmm.
So if I drop down to the daily, I got this daily order block.
Mm-hmm.
Price needs to retrace like into this order block. If I drop down to the 2 hour,
short o'clock.
Yeah, now a couple of different things about this chart kind of bother me, if you will. For me, I got my chop right here. I got my break. I got my break. Right? So when I look at the imbalance, there's an imbalance here. Price only has to come to about this level to fill the imbalance, right?
Right.
But the order block is right here. So I'm thinking that price is going to come down at least to this order block, right? This is my optimal trade entry, and it could come all the way down here, but it doesn't necessarily have to.
Doesn't
Right.
your entry line up with the top of the wick of that order block? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess it does. But you know, whenever ITC preaches order blocks, he preaches this whole red candle from this whole down move is the order block.
Yeah, I heard.
So this might be a little bit more tricky. But if you understand the concept, then
Mhm.
I think my entry will kind of line up. I think that's going to be about where I could get a good entry, and I'm protecting through this 78.6.
Yeah.
What's tricky about it? I mean, because it might be a more shallow retracement.
Well, maybe, you know, like it's not obvious. You know, I don't think it's obvious where exactly price, you know, where your entry would be. I think you kind of have to observe, like you got to set your alert. You know, you might want to add an alert right here that will tell you, hey man, you want to start watching this thing for the just like on the weekly chart, we saw it come down and you know, like start showing exhaustion. I think
Yeah.
that's the same way you're going to have to kind of monitor this trade
On the lower time frames.
as far as the entry. I mean, you can set an entry right here. You can do that, but you might miss the mark this time.
Yeah, I would say in full disclosure, I mean, that's how I view all of my entries. I mean, to me, it's never obvious which imbalance, how deep into the order block, all of that shit. You know, it's always a crapshoot to me. I always have to do it by area.
So, but how do you set it and which time frame? And like,
So okay, I'm not a time frame hound, you know. I like to discourage people from worrying about what time frame. I would rather look at which price point, right? The price point is important. The time frame is not.
okay.
I think when you see your chalk, you know, and this is not a chalk for Kim, but let me see if I can drop down to see a more.
The shock either, but
You said what?
I wouldn't call it a shock either.
Why in the body close below? Isn't it?
Hmm?
Yeah, but some, you know, you just depending on the people.
Depending on the people.
Depending on the people, you know how it goes. So look. Well, none of this would be a chalk for Kim, because you can't say this is a chalk and then it breaks structure way over here. It doesn't work like that. It needs to be definitive. For me, it was definitive on the higher time frames, but this throws a wrench into the game. So what you need to see as on these lower time frames, as price pushes down here, you want to see a break of structure to the downside and a break of structure to the upside. Not necessarily a break of structure over here, but the structure over here. So maybe price will push, you know, past this structure and then push up, which will let you know that price is ready to roll. But for me, I'm good with what I see as a break of structure here. We broke structure right here, and then we broke structure here. I just needed to pull down and show me exhaustion. And then I'm hopping in for the up move. Yeah, me.
Mm-hmm.
I think out of the two trades, I think the CAD chef is, probably a cleaner version,
Winner, winner, win.
but it is what it is. Any questions about this this setup before we go to what is NZD chef? Is that what somebody went to look at?
Jeff JPY.
Or Chef JPY. Chef Jaffe. Probably something I didn't run look at, these JPYs. Triple bottoms. What's up, y'all? What you need to see here?
Nothing to see there.
Oh, it's plenty to see. Who has to see that?
Me, Kim.
So you see this chart right here, Kim?
Mm-hmm.
How it's going to give us an entry, or how it already really gave us an entry.
Mm-hmm.
And what did we look at? Chef JPY?
Yeah. So we're waiting on retracement.
Huh?
Retracement.
I think it's going to give us an entry.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you already break this pair down?
Yeah.
What did you have it done?
Going up a little and then retracing back and for the buy. Just what you got.
Yeah, I don't care about it. How like I don't care about it going up. Honestly, I'm trying to find the move from this order block. It's interesting that I have it going that deep though. Oh, maybe it's because this is a move that broke structure.
Yeah.
Here's your chart right here, Kim.
I was about to say, so you it's for the sell down. That's what I meant.
Yeah,
sell-
remember you wanted this thing to cook up.
Yeah, I want to sell all the way down
And it might very well sell all the way down.
because
To
of
where?
the breaker structure. Like,
To
Sell
the order
down
block?
yeah, down there. That's where I wanted to go.
or down here. I believe that's a possibility, but I don't believe it's gonna come up here and just sell down immediately. I think it has to mitigate these things first. We'll see. You might get a little Wyckoff. It might start Wyckoffing and then sell. It's Wyckoffing. It might Wyckoff and then sell. But it does need to sell down. This area is a perfect area too, because this is about where your moving average is.
Retested that breaker structure. Yeah. Yep.
Oh.
What is it looking like on the 4 hour, 1 hour? Is it Wyckoffing already?
The 4 hour.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It accumulated.
Ooh.
And this is what I think, this 4 hour has it going up. So maybe it'll push into this order block and reject. Go back and mitigate this this area. I think this to me is the area that it's going to sell from.
The top, right?
Well, this imbalance right here. I don't know that it ever reached the very top.
No, I don't think it's going all the way to the top, because I think, yeah. Yeah, right there. Well, I would just, yeah.
And really,
That
This
green,
is-
the last green candle before the down move. Yeah.
yeah, this is really the imbalance. Because this wick doesn't really come into play. It's this candle and this candle.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe around this 50% area. I'm just naked eyeballing this, y'all. I'm not but yeah, this is kind of the way I see it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna trade this pair though until it gets to the top. I'll let Kim handle that with her big money.
But how many pips is it going up and then how many going down?
How many going up?
Mhm.
Well, so here's the deal. I don't know. I think it needs to turn around first, and I want to see it buy from here.
Yeah.
I want to see it buy up from here. Maybe it buys to this point, you know? I mean, but until it happens, I can't really put it on the chart. You know what I'm saying? Like until this actually sells back down into this area for the buy up, we'll never know. Maybe this is going to be an area of equal highs right here. Maybe this will be engineered liquidity.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe this goes up like I think it'll go into this zone before it sells back down.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely think it's coming back down to this area for the buyer.
Why that area? I don't see an order block over there.
Well, it's the Wyckoff. When you have an accumulation, it's gonna give you an entry at the relative equal highs. So you don't see an order block on this time frame, but you see all these wicks, you know that they're there.
Okay.
So maybe if you drop down to the 2 hour, yes, there's an order block here. Maybe on the 1 hour, there's one here. I just have the markup. It's based on the concept, you know, like it's the concept. The concept is, you know,
The white coffee.
yeah, it's going to come back and give you an entry.
Okay.
And this is why they say the patient trader gets paid, because you don't go chase the entry. You wait for it to come back and then go. So we'll see. I mean, if you think about this, it broke structure. So maybe it needs to come back and retest. And if you say it retested right here, okay, it broke structure again. So it needs to come back to this area and retest. Eventually though, price needs to come to this area and kick off. Based on you know, what's been playing out. I think this is the protected high. So if you look at it, I think maybe this is what Kim wanted me to look at.
Yeah, put that fib on it.
You want a price to come here, Kim?
Mhm.
I agree.
Most likely where it's gonna go.
I agree. I just think that it needs to bounce down here first. And who knows? You know, we'll see. I'm not messing with this thing until price comes back up here to sell.
Or down to that buy zone, that white call.
Yep.
Yep. I agree with that.
I agree. I agree.
What it do? What it do? Y'all wanna look at anything else?
US,
Can
Though the NASDAQ and the S&P up.
US 30.
We already did.
You already did US study.
miss
You
it?
did? Okay, then I came late. I'm sorry.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm-
run US 30 back for the
It's the same as the rest of these, though.
Okay.
generally speaking, yeah.
It's the exact same as the S&P.
Did you do that one?
Oh, but-
S&P?
no, But if you look at the NASDAQ, we didn't do the S&P yet.
I'm scared of my house.
This one didn't come back to the 78.6 yet. It didn't come back at all to the 78.6.
It's probably not going to.
No,
But this is what I used to know that the US 30 was going to buy.
but
You know how ICT talks about correlated markets
mhm.
and kind of overlaying them, and when they I forget the term, but when they break correlation, when one doesn't make
Yeah,
that the
I-
other one makes, or
Yeah, I
the
like
high
that.
that the other one makes. I mean, I look at all three of those indexes, and when they do that, when one is unwilling to go as low as the other ones, then I know the one that had the deeper low is gonna eventually follow suit and buy. Or if it don't go as high as the other ones, then I know that the ones that made the deeper or the higher highs are going to turn around and sell, if that makes sense.
I'm at that video right now. That's video 3, where he's talking about all ships rise with the tide.
Yeah, but you know what? I hear you, and all that's cool, but just give me the order block.
Well, I mean, I get you. I get where you're coming from, and you're not supposed to use it like in a vacuum. There should be other factors that are pointing to the same thing. It's just one of a few
Confirmation.
kind of excuses or reasons to justify, your bias. So,
Sure,
but
sure.
this looks like one of them pair charts that we just looked at with the higher highs.
Uh-huh.
And I know a few weeks ago, he was saying that we have to go run that liquidity up at the top. And,
I agree.
this kind of supports that, really.
Well, but see, I think that the entry though was here when you got this daily order block. Here was your opportunity to get in this and make your little loop.
Well, that was Friday.
Right. And since you missed it, you got to wait for the retracement.
Yeah.
But I don't, at least on this chart, there's no clear,
But the retracement probably is not gonna happen until after it grabs liquidity.
Right. That's what I think.
well, it's grabbed this liquidity. It might grab this liquidity, but you think it's gonna grab up here? Maybe not. Maybe it'll just tap into this order block first.
That's true.
I think the retracement is gonna happen first. I don't think it's gonna go way up here first and then pull down.
Well, it may not, but that's kind of where what I was talking about, where you're getting the break in correlation. Because if you look at the US 30, the price action is closer to the liquidity.
Here's another order block. Like it might just tap into the order blocks, pull back first. So you got this break of structure right here. Do you call this a break of structure, Kim? It didn't break that wick, so you probably don't call it. But
Oh, it did break the wick.
oh, right here, Well, I'm talking about this wick. I was really referring to this level as a
No,
break.
because the order block, the last order block is the red, is the
Mhm.
red.
This one?
Yeah, so that order block, it broke that structure. There was a BOS for that one.
Okay, that's cool. So I expected the retrace, right? Maybe it goes to this order block, but the retracement should come around this level, I would think. I mean, I don't know if you guys agree. I'm talking out loud, kind of, this is.
Oh,
kind of the way
I do agree. I don't have a major problem with that analysis.
I would expect the price to come around this level.
What's that?
Um,
The 62? 60?
Yeah, but we can't really, me pulling the fib out is way premature because there's not even a wick.
Because there's no structure, you're right? Unless
know?
you go to the time frame.
So I'm just guesstimating based off of what I see on the chart. So let's just say that the wick exposes itself at this level. Then that retracement will be, I guess, about the 61 or 62. If price pushes up to the top of this liquidity, then that would put that retracement a little bit further down. Maybe the 78.6 is in play at the wicks. You know, I don't know. I'm just guesstimating, you know, based off what I see, but we can't really pull the fib out because there's no wick.
Right.
Jay Take Profits would be pissed off if he saw me pulling the fib out.
You can't do that.
Making a mockery, bruh. You're making a mockery of everything that I teach.
But you see how on this one, how far, where's that liquidity at?
Right here.
Yeah, what's the?
Well,
so
this
at 12, no, the first liquidity
the
up,
right here,
right? Yeah.
72. Then you got this level at 112. And then you got this protected high right here at 200 points.
So at 12,072, that's your first little pool of liquidity. I'm just pretty comfortable that it's going there. That's not even a
Yeah,
hundred.
I don't have a problem with that. I think so. I think it can go here too. I just don't think it is going to take out this protected high until it comes back to the order block.
Mhm.
How many hundreds of points is that protected high up?
200,
That's
70,
200.
or 202. Yeah, 200 points.
That might be asking a little much.
But why would they take this high out without inducing more money first, like the sellers?
Well, I agree. I just said it. It seems like a little much. So, I mean, I'm not disagreeing. Especially for the Asian session. I mean, it can, but that would be a big move for the Asian session.
Or them 200.
Yeah. And I just think that London is going to sell. You know, I could be totally wrong about that, but I think you'll get the down move in London.
Oh, Serena Williams is tripping.
What she's do?
I'll show you in the chat.
So since I missed the US 30, I can anticipate the same thing for US 30 as for NAS for the week, or
I would say yes, but this is the US, see how the US 30 is a lot closer to the liquidity than the NASDAQ?
Mhm. Yeah,
So where this one, I'm a lot sure that it will tap the liquidity.
200,
Has further to run.
250 to this liquidity.
I don't even know if you get 250 though in the Asian session. And to me, that would be a big Asian session. I mean, it's possible, but
I would just look for the cook-off. Like I can see these levels, it tapping into this order block, selling off, tapping in, and then buying up.
yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I'd probably put me a sell like maybe, I don't know, 100 points up.
above that zone where the doji is.
Above where price is now.
I would just wait for it to start selling. And wait for it to
Well, I mean, ideally I will, but honestly, I don't know that I'm gonna be able to stay up and watch that
Well,
chart.
that's gonna happen this afternoon.
Well, if it happens this afternoon, great, but
But I
Asian,
mean, so you would use, which one? You say you would 100 points above where price is now.
yeah, so
Do you mean
price is
like where that?
well, price is at 31,286, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So like if I wasn't watching it, I would put me a sell limit at like 31,386. And I might put a 100 point stop loss on that. So, the idea is that it runs up, it grabs that liquidity, and it might run me in the drawdown, but then it turns around and starts selling. But if I'm watching it, then I do like he said and kind of wait on the signs of exhaustion and the bearish order block and all that kind of stuff.
So since I'm a little slow, that means right there at the green doji order block, about.
Yeah, I mean, right there, see where he has that blue range kind of that
Mhm.
right in that general area,
Okay.
is likely where I would place my sell. And it looks like, I think 31,409 is what I see on there. So
Mhm.
probably in that general area, maybe not quite that high.
Mhm.
The hell is wrong with you?
Huh?
I said, what is the matter with you?
Okay, we're still recording.
Oh. Woo, they need to stop playing, man.
What? Oh, are you texting me?
Yeah, dude.
I keep hearing my phone chirping, but
It's this meme that this dude I used to work with on the railroad put. Did y'all know that there's like these little animal faces that you can text?
yeah, I've been seeing these kind of things lately.
Oh my God. Do y'all know on your phone you can text people animal faces?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They're younger than you. They know.
You got this.
Like emojis?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got this lion on here,
You can talk and make it a character.
Well, he got this lion. He said, just know that when I text you this lion, this picture of the lion, he said, I know you lying,
You should share your jokes. You're wrong for that.
He said, what?
Put it in the Discord thing. Can't you do that?
Yeah, but it's kind of because it had the cussing in it. I didn't want to drop it in there, but I was
Why? Because he misspelled lion.
yeah, but Oh my God.
Uh,
If you knew this dude, man, like he's a swole dude.
He didn't make that up, I'm sure. I mean,
Yeah, I
I've
know.
seen a lot of them things floating around lately. I mean.
So Todd, I wanted to ask a question about the prop trader.
Yes, ma'am.
I am still in my month of qualifying, phase 1.
Uh-huh.
I am now,
Hey, Elfie, look at your WhatsApp. But yeah, you're now what?
I think I'm at like 50, like it's a $50,000 account. And I saved my drawdown with my last trade, but I'm not even close to qualifying. So
Well,
do I
where are you at? Where are you at?
extend or something, or
But where are you at?
do you mean at the amount?
Well, are you in drawdown or are you in profit?
I'm in profit.
So if you miss the time frame and you're in profit, they'll give you another account. But when is your time up?
I think on the 21st.
Oh, you got plenty of time. You got a few you got a few days or whatever. Maybe you'll catch one of these trades and it'll be enough to make you win. Maybe you'll catch this buy on the US 30.
You need to catch the sell first, though.
Well, even if she don't catch the sell, the buy up, if it buys 1,000 points,
See, I'm scared of I mean, on the small time, like scalping it in the morning, I don't mind doing that with US 30. But like a longer move, I don't know how long you hold your trades, Sean, and what lot size you use.
so
Like
listen.
I'm familiar.
All right, but let me slow down. Let me stop right there. Listen, here's the thing that bothers me about everything that you're saying right now, Effie. Because if you look at this chart, it's giving you a buy signal, and you understand where the liquidity is. You see it. So if you get in for a buy right here, you're gonna hold your trade the entire 700,000 point move or whatever. You're gonna hold
The
it.
price is not there right now.
Well, you're right, but we just talked about it pushing back down to this level, right? Or maybe you weren't here for that part, but we feel like price is going to push back down, and we can get an entry at this level.
But Elfie, you aren't comfortable
I'm not going to trade on my
putting a sell stop up in that liquidity and putting, I don't know, a 50-point stop loss on it, something like that, something that won't blow your account.
Now,
I'm not sure. I have to meditate on that.
Elfie, you're never gonna qualify the account if you're not willing to lose $50. I mean,
I don't mind losing 50, but like I'm still kind of, I guess, scared of US 30 doing like a big, like holding it. I don't know, like something is.
you can protect it, Elfie. If it goes the wrong way, you're gonna get stopped out, and your account's still gonna be.
Yes.
And don't use a big lot size, Alfie.
Hey, Elfie.
Yes,
Hey,
Keith.
Sean, if you really want to see a response from Elfie, ask her what she does for a living.
Say what?
I said,
I
if you
don't
really
want to get into all that.
I
bro.
thought that was done.
She didn't want to go into it
I'm just
yesterday. I don't know what you want to go into today.
I'm trying to change my life over here, okay? Let's not bring up the past.
Listen, we're trying to help you change your life, but you're telling her you're scared to get in the trade.
I know, right? Okay.
We can't have it both ways. I mean, we got to get
Okay. Okay.
or we got to not trade.
There's an American saying, Elfie, and it goes something like this: "Scared money don't make money."
I hear.
I mean, so you got to get in there and just protect yourself. If you get stopped out, you get stopped out. But look, you're gonna have to do the same thing when it sells back down to the buy zone. You have to make another decision. Am I getting in this for this buy, or am I going to be scared to get? I don't really see the difference here. Is I guess
Where did Kenya get on the count?
You're right. Kenya here? Hey guys.
And Kenya is supposed to be doing, Kenya, what?
Okay, we waited patiently for your breakdown so we can.
I got here a while back. Y'all were on Chef JPY when I joined.
Yeah, but we want to rip your analysis to shreds, so please share.
And that's fine. I mean, I got tough skin today. I just spent some time with Jesus. So
Went to church.
But,
I
hey,
know
don't bring Jesus into your weekend.
look at
Right,
me.
Jesus is
Setting the
everywhere.
foundation.
He is
Hey,
everywhere.
don't bring Jesus into your gross analysis.
I had to bring Jesus in. That's what I had to do. Okay. Hold on one second.
Hey, Jesus said he didn't tell you to hold that trade or to jump at that
You
trade
wrong.
prematurely last
You're
week.
wrong for that.
He said he didn't tell you to jump at that trade prematurely last week, but you did it anyway. And now you're gonna bring him into the analysis.
I know. I need Jesus on this analysis. Can y'all see my screen?
Jesus. Yeah. I don't
Okay. So let me go.
Did you call Jesus?
Okay. So
Fix it, Jesus.
don't laugh too hard. I got, okay. So on the weekly, y'all laughing a little too hard already.
That remind me of our pharmacy tech. Man. He told the preacher, I'm not responsible. He is still working on me. He is still working on me. He is still working on me.
All right. So there's a weekly bear show B right there. So that's telling me that it's selling. I dropped down to the daily to see what we have here, and it's been selling. So I think that it's gonna have to pull back to grab some liquidity before it sells off. And it's selling off to this, at least to this liquidity pool. What was difficult was there's no historical data to like say exactly where it's going to, because this is like the ultimate low. It's
Go to
ever
the
been.
monthly so we can see. Show us. Act like you from Missouri. So there is some reference. But
Well, I mean, yeah, that's how I marked it. That's where it's ever, like, that's the lowest it's ever been.
When
But
you
that's like ever.
but I'm sure there's some
when you go
structure
down,
in that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So go down to lower time frames and find this area.
It's the
Well,
8 hour.
The structure, is there a structure in that wick right there?
I don't know, when is that?
So
See,
drop down
so you
to like
want
the,
to-
drop down to the 8 hour. Now let's go look at that area in between the blue lines. Okay, now go over there so we can see it and kind of expand it a little bit. She got that high speed, y'all. She zoomed in. I don't know how to zoom like that.
I don't either. I need to
It's a plus sign right here.
Yeah.
Oh, girl, you should have showed us. All right, so you see the structure in there? You got-
Uh-huh,
you
yeah,
got
bullish
different
order
order
block,
blocks,
another
another
one.
Yeah, so you can use that structure for I guess points of reference on the way down.
Okay. So, I mean, long-term trading, let me go back to,
Well, we are swing trading.
I got you. So then so I did kind of like a near term and then I guess a long-term question mark, because wouldn't you want it to retrace this 78% of this whole move right here? So then your entry would be somewhere probably up here somewhere,
I would, but
maybe even up
listen,
here.
that is what we want. But I'm at your analysis of this pair has to show us something, right? So
Okay, so I'll show you what I used as my entry. It's a 2-hour bearish OB. It matches up with this 12-hour liquidity that I have right here. And it's also inside of the golden zone if you fib this whole down move right here.
I love this. I love this, Kenya.
Yes.
But I think at where we might be missing something.
Okay.
This is the 8 hour. So let me see.
I think
Let's-
on the daily, there was a bullish order block that
This
is.
is the daily.
tapping. Yeah,
So if it's tapping here, then it's buying back up, and it makes sense for it to buy up to where I think it's got to buy up to where I'm trying to sell it from
I
anyway.
agree.
so
I
I think
agree.
it's gonna buy up even more because you have that break of structure. You have that break of structure, it's retracing back to the order block,
Where do you have a break of structure?
right? Right,
On the other side, draw a line down. You see the down. That's your structure.
Oh.
You broke.
Well,
this-
yeah, it was right there.
side.
That was the high.
Right. So this is what I was talking about. If you go to the 8 hour, go back to the 8 hour. This is what I mean by we're missing something. And I know I gave you this pair. But do you see the lows?
These?
Yeah, your lows.
Yeah. Okay.
Look at your most recent low.
This one?
Well, the most recent one.
This one?
Is it lower or higher?
It's higher. It looks like 78% of this move.
There you go.
So it's going up.
put the fib on it.
Yep.
So, I do believe it's going up. Now, the confusing part of it is that you have your weekly order block, right? This is kind of like the pair that Selena was analyzing. If you go back out, like delete that fib, because I don't want it to show up on your when we go back out. If you go back out to your monthly chart. So on this monthly chart, make it a little bit like maybe you spread it out a little bit. Oh, she's over in. Okay. If you look at this monthly chart, this last candle is
The
not
one we're on, no, this one, the last one that finished.
well, no, not the last. The one that we're on now is not really doing much. It's actually showing a little wick. So just like you said, it needs to retrace, right? And more than likely it needs to retrace if you think about this to the moving average, right?
Up here somewhere. Well,
Even if it doesn't go that high, if the moving average just keeps coming down. The wicks never touched, so you have an imbalance if this doesn't go up. I don't think it'll go up by the time this month closes. But if price is pushing up, go back now, drop to the weekly. This is just my thought process when I look at this chart. Okay. Even though that's a bearish OB,
mhm.
if price goes back up and violates it or even goes back up towards the top, right? It can be another green candle that doesn't go over it, but it goes back up to the top. That's close. That's closer to the moving average again. How many pips is that if it goes back up to the top?
All the way to the wick.
No, it doesn't necessarily have to be the wick. But I think
70, 90.
yeah, I think it probably will end up going back up. This pair does need to retrace to where it broke that structure from.
So I also went to like investing.com and tried to bring in the fundamentals, and everything's saying it's selling
Well, it is. Why is it selling?
because GBP is a risky pair and Chef is a safe pair.
That's
And
true.
Chef raised, no, one of them raised their interest rates recently. Actually,
Chef did.
GBP raised theirs, I think.
Chef did too. They raised theirs 50 basis points. I don't think GBP raised theirs. Did they raise theirs? They raised theirs 25 basis points is what it is. It was disappointing, I believe.
I don't remember where I saw it. I went to a lot of different.
Global-rates.com.
Who was doing the rates earlier? Alpha?
Alpha was.
So
Just click on the date where it says change. Click on
They
change.
did it on June 16th.
Click on change.
where do you see change? I don't see it.
Top. This is the
on
last
top, on the
top.
last column.
last column.
Oh, this one.
Yep. And that
GDP on 16th.
okay, the 16th. And when did the chef? The chef did it about the same time, I think.
That's
Awesome.
Switzerland, right? Yeah, they're right there together.
Yeah.
Same day.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
one
but
of them
the
was-
Swiss rate is so low.
well, it doesn't matter. They raised it 50 basis points. They raised it more than the GBP did, right? GBP raised it. How many did they raise it?
0.25.
I think that was.
Okay.
I think that's why you had such disappointment in the JPY. I mean, in the GBP. But
I haven't been trading GBP.
no, I'm talking about the market has disappointment, not
Oh.
not necessarily you. But you probably missed the little spiel about trading interest rates in a vacuum. You can't just trade it in a vacuum. When you look at that chart, you have to understand that for 1, 2, 3 weeks, it went straight down. If you did this move from the top of that green wick, from that weekly order block to the bottom, I mean, this thing hasn't even retraced 38%, so it needs to go up 38%. Really, it needs to go up probably to that 78.6 because it needs to retest the level that it broke. Right? It broke that structure and never even came back. So yeah, it needs to sell down, based on the interest rates and all that good stuff, but the market still has to move the way that a market moves. Most of the time, the market is not going to collapse, thousands of pips without retracing.
That makes sense. That's probably why I get my trades wrong. Because they be right, but they just be wrong.
In a retail vein, I see tweezer bottoms too. So that's
Yeah, but wait, where do you see tweezer bottoms? Right here?
Mhm.
Or which one's the tweezer bottoms? The ones that buy or the one that sells?
The first
It's
two
just
candles. The first
But
two candles.
I would be comfortable with buying this up and not really selling it back now.
Yeah, I struggled to create the buy because technically the weekly candle we're on now could be tapping into this order block and it could push up by the end of the week.
Yeah, those tweezer bottoms.
Or I guess it would be a new week, but
Gonna buy.
it could create a new order block, I guess is what I really probably need to say.
Well, it can, but that's why I wanted you to break down the pair. The last thing you have to go off of is a higher low, right? You do have a bearish order block, so the only way you can trade this is if you waited for it to buy up to your zone and you thought it was going to sell down. But everything that I see about this chart says we're ready to buy up. Now,
Convincing
it
factor
is
that you
very-
have is those tweezer bottoms.
you say what?
Your most convincing factor is those tweezer bottoms.
I don't give a damn about them tweets about it. There's the chart right there. It broke structure down and it broke structure up.
All of those wicks to the left, I think, suggest an unwillingness to go lower too.
LP, you need a pair too. What about AUD shift? And you just analyze that pair every week.
Oh,
Wait,
wait.
I have to stick with this
Every
forever?
Y'all hear me? Oh,
Now we can.
oh. God, so you get me in trouble. That was Never
What
mind.
Nobody.
No, whose was it, Selena? I mean, if it's somebody else, we can
No. I'm saying, I mean, but you're just, maybe they wanted another pair to stick to every week.
So what-
Right.
what pair you wanna
Chief
do?
Chef is not my flavor.
Okay, well, what pair y'all want to do?
I need to pray and meditate on it, like
Oh,
LB
my
said.
Jesus, I know what Jesus said.
I'm done with the chopping block.
So
Are
we're
you-
looking for a buy for GF.
That's what I heard.
I ain't trading that trash.
Me either, Todd.
I'm trading the CAD Chef and maybe NZD CAD, but CAD Chef to me is a cleaner setup.
I like Cash Chef too.
I also
Y'all are buying Cat Chef?
I like GBP CAD and EuroCAD too.
Y'all are buying Cat Chef
Yeah, I mean,
and selling GBP Cat and selling Euro Cat?
what I sell GB. Can you pull up GBP and EuroCAD and tell me why I'm selling?
I was just asking based off the fact that Cat raised their interest rate.
Well, we just talked about trading in a vacuum. So can you pull up the chart, please? Please. Please.
You be setting yourself up, baby.
What am I looking for?
EuroCAD or GBP CAD?
Can you please?
Just please, please.
So we're gonna sell this because they raised the interest rates. Can you now I understand. This is when you should be calling Jesus, because now I understand why we in the demo. Because then you'd be like, well, you said they raised the interest rates. What do you see on the chart?
It's in a downtrend, a heavy one.
Okay, I agree.
It broke structure.
Mhm.
Did it break? Kim, did it break?
Mm-hmm.
No, technically not, right?
What?
Yeah, it broke structure right there. Break that.
But that's not your low. That's your low, right?
Wait.
You gotta do the closest to price.
The
Can
recent one.
you-
Yeah, the closest to-
we're gonna have to. We gotta have a baseline of agreement.
So it's got to be this one.
Oh,
no, the one in the middle.
In the middle.
This one?
That one, yeah.
And even, I mean, it broke the top side, all that liquidity at the top, in the middle.
yeah, just
Of-
at the bottom of that
right.
one. No, what do you?
To the right.
I'm trying to listen. I hear too many voices.
Yeah, so down in that middle, where you cursing? You bring it to the middle of that teacup,
All you gotta do
whatever.
is trace the bottom side of that whole move from where you had the break of structure. Right, just trace the whole bottom side of that move right there.
Trace the whole bottom side.
Like go
The low.
up, go up
Follow-
that,
yeah,
go
go up
up
and follow
those
the
wicks.
lows. Follow the lows.
Follow the lows.
No, of the whole move.
Then you
Right
go
there.
back, go back,
I don't like
Go-
this game.
go back to where price is,
Price is here.
Current. and then go up all those red candles, and come down a little bit. You see all that area, that liquidity, that
There you go. Those-
Uh-huh.
yeah, it broke there, and then it also broke this next low, right?
This one.
Mhm.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are your expectations since it broke that that low.
It's got to pull back and then sell off.
There you go. I agree. So the monthly chart is kind of too big to understand maybe where it needs to pull back. So if you drop down to the weekly, where we can actually see the candles, the weekly candles are showing exhaustion, showing wicks, right?
Okay.
So if you take the last weekly move that broke structure,
This one.
yeah, but if you fib from the top of that, we can't see the bottom of the candle. I don't know if you can see it on your screen. I can't see it. There you go. So that's an impulse move, right? Would you agree with that? Those three red candles is an impulse move down.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you agree with that being an impulse move? The market has an impulse move and it has a pullback. Impulse move, pullback,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
You got your impulse move from that last green candle. I would fib that impulse move from the top of that green wick to the bottom of that red wick because it's showing exhaustion and now it needs to pull back.
So pull back to the 78% and then sell back down to where it came from.
If it sells back down, do you have an order block that says it's going to sell down?
No.
So I don't know that we can. So hold on. If you go back to the weekly. Now, if you take the fib off, so we can see, I mean, you marked your 78.6, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay, now kill the fib. Now, in your personal time, I know you study ICT, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you squeeze this chart together, that wick, the wick,
The green wick.
no, the low point of this last week's candle, that wick.
Uh-huh.
I would put a line down there so I can look and see if we swept any liquidity.
Oh, like at the wick or at the body?
Bottom of the wick.
At the wick. Is that put it at I think you're too high. Did you put it at the wick?
Think I'm too high?
I can't see.
Zoom in and see if it's at the bottom of the wick. He's thinking that you,
So at the bottom of the previous week wick?
No.
the wick, the last candle, the last
That's what
week's
I had
candle.
it.
Okay.
Okay.
Blind,
Right. There you
blind,
go.
Karen, you're doing the right thing. He's just double checking to make sure.
So you see how when is the last time price went? See how that wick went lower than those other wicks?
Mhm.
The O's.
That one, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that one.
Yeah.
And even the other, the one closer to price. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's what liquidity.
Swept liquidity, right? Do you agree with that?
Yes.
So once
It's
you
liquidity
sweep
right there.
the sell side liquidity, now you're going to attack the buy side liquidity. And you just told me that it needed to retrace anyway. Correct?
Right.
So if you go to the daily chart, we can start looking at the different liquidity that's up for grabs.
You have the swing low right there.
Now you already have a mark of the 78.6. Where is your 78.6?
That one.
Okay, So if you know that that's your 78.6, but more importantly, price has swept the liquidity at the bottom, I would feel very comfortable with taking a trade up there to the 78.6. I personally would look at all those levels that order block at the 78.6. I think that's going to get taken out. That order block above it, I think that'll get taken out.
This one,
Yeah, those highs. Those highs is where the liquidity is, right? Does that make sense?
yeah,
So there's liquidity above all of those highs up there. Every high that you have up there. The next high too, there's liquidity. So how high does this price, how far does the retracement need to go? If you remember, when you looked at the monthly chart, you need to go pretty far, right?
mhm.
If you put a fib on this monthly chart.
Where from?
well,
The last impulse move?
That's right. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get this entire move right now, but that's the level that that the market can go to, right? And you would understand why the market would go all the way up there. Because that's the level that broke the structure, right?
That's the move that broke the structure.
Okay. I mean, there's order blocks up there. I know there's a huge imbalance in that monthly candle. Huge. On the monthly level, it's huge. So if you keep dropping down, you understand that there's imbalances there that need to be filled. But for starters, I mean, there's 1,000 different confirmations that this thing should buy up at least to your 6. And higher because the liquidity has been swept from the bottom of the market. And if price moves towards liquidity, then the only liquidity that's left is your buy side liquidity. Now, as it goes up, they will engineer some sell side liquidity, like by consolidating or whatever, going through accumulations. But I think that the setup is for an up move for that one and EuroCAD.
Remember last week when he pointed out that move that took 3 months to retrace back to the 78.6. It started in March, I guess. And in June, it finally retraced back up. This will probably end up being that same kind of move. I mean, we'll probably look back in October-ish, September, October, for it to get where it's ultimately probably trying to go.
You're very quiet, like you don't understand.
I got a crying baby, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's all good. The baby didn't like your chart markup either.
He don't like trading. He cries at the open. He cries when
The baby don't like the market.
he don't like it.
Oh, he tripping.
That's what I said.
Take him on his first Legoland vacation. He gonna love it.
You like it?
You too, Mom.
2 months.
Okay, can I stop sharing now?
Did a great job, Kenya.
Thank you, Selena. I appreciate the encouragement. 'Cause I feel like I got beat down.
Yes, you did.
You got me. Yeah, what are you talking about?
Well, Kenya, be thankful in the fact that we all get treated the same.
I was gonna say. I was about to say.
It does make me feel like I'm part of the family, though.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say you missed him trying to harass me earlier today on a trade that I'm probably right on. You know,
I was like harassed.
Sean, you used to it.
No, you talking about because
But he knows everything.
no, you said I was harassing you because you said the market was gonna go straight up.
I didn't say it was going straight up.
You said it's gonna be a volcanic reaction. It's gonna go up and leave ash on the bottom of the market. I was like, probably not.
All right. man.
Todd, which one did you give me again?
I think you should pick a pair you like.
Pick one you like, but
I don't like any of them. That's why I can't pick.
I'm with you, LP. I don't like any of them.
I don't understand how Effie gonna be a trader if she don't like none of the pairs. Like Louis,
I'll make them my friend one day.
Louis Vuitton. Take the Louis Vuitton, Effie. You'll be.
What?
I said,
He said, take Louis Vuitton. He wants you to trade Louis Vuitton.
I can't either.
you'll be
I like
analyzing the heck out of
Chanel.
it.
I like Dior. So that would be caring. Anyways, which one are you giving me?
AUD chef.
Oh, we need to find
Yeah.
other.
Do AUD CAD. AUD CAD probably moves better than AUD chef.
80 CAD. Okay. Let me write it down.
Yeah, what you laughing at?
Cause I'm like, maybe we should see if Chanel and Louis got.
Right.
And every time we hit our TP, we can go buy a bag.
Right?
Yes, we need to make that a rule. Like, I like that.
I ain't gonna even lie, y'all.
Right.
I can't even see me going in the store buying one of them bags. I started to itch.
You need to. You need to start visualizing, girl. You're visualizing a better future right away.
Manifest.
I'm a manifest, but I don't want to buy one of them bags.
Well, then buy whatever you want. You ain't gotta buy that.
Y'all just spend your money differently.
Yeah,
What?
I'm so awful.
I'm not saying that I mean both of all of y'all's purchases are frivolous. Your purchases are for Aaron. Those are very frivolous.
You know what, Todd?
Not
Goodbye. I'm gonna just hang all the way up, y'all.
Oh, you mean her 30-year-old son?
Yeah.
You know what?
Hey,
Stop the
You see,
recording,
Kenya? You
please.
see what I'm going through right now?
he said stop.
Oh, my bad. Is he 50?
Hey,
Lena, I see you in a different light. I see you like my
No.
mama now because I got a 30-year-old brother and
Aaron is don't pay them no attention,
Listen,
Kenya.
hey,
But he
hey.
just texted me, asked me for my HBO password. No, sir. You
Hey,
grown. You don't
that's
moved
probably
out.
that's probably the first no he done heard. He probably showed his phone to his girlfriend, but I can't believe she said.
I can't believe she said that.
Either that or she must be on the phone with my dad.
Yeah, hey,
No, I said I didn't even.
You know what
No.
Aaron told me? He told
What?
me that ever since that me and you started talking again, that like I messed up a lot of his. Maybe his wording wasn't privileges, but that's what he meant, you know.
Oh wow.
Like he gets a lot more no's now.
Yeah, I guess I like this. I said, don't blame me for your ignorance. I told you not to go back to your mama's house. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. But yeah.
He done left his mama's house again, so without a
That's your
phone.
Chanel, Gucci, and Louis right there.
You right. You absolutely correct. You absolutely correct. But anyway, off of Selena. So
Hey, Selena.
Hmm?
You're Miss Terry with financial means.
okay, so we still going. Okay.
Hey, Selena, my mom is the sweetest woman, but
She is.
she ain't never had it in her to say no though.
Well, I said no, Sean. I let Aaron leave without a phone. He really does not have a phone.
Selena, she's still providing child care for the masses. Free.
No, I'm not doing it.
Free of charge.
Wait
I am
till-
beginning to say no very well now. Very
wait till
well.
Aaron slip up and have a kid. I already know what time it's going.
Sean, do not speak that.
I already know what time it's gonna be. Sean is dumb.
Nope.
I got the formula and the diapers for the first 2 years.
Whatever. Whatever.
Aaron, just forget it. Bring the baby over here.
Oh, now you really lying. I'm barely surviving with peanuts, let alone a baby.
What you say? You're surviving with peanuts.
My dog. I'm tired of my dog.
Oh.
So you talking about a baby. Mm-mm.
Oh, Peanut.
Yeah. You know,
I
Aaron
don't know-
couldn't take Peanut with him.
I don't know why you let Watu drop that ugly dog over there anyway, knowing.
You
Aaron-
could my dog is not ugly.
Peanut is just unathletic. He ain't ugly.
Oh,
He's
my
definitely
goodness.
not athletic.
Is Peanut the Shih Tzu or that other one?
Peanut is the Shih Tzu.
Okay, the Shih Tzu is pretty cool. It was that other one.
Yeah, that was the one that was out of control. I can't think of that one's name.
Pussy.
Yeah,
Quincy.
Quincy, that's the one. That dog, man. That dog act just like Watu though, you know, to be
Hey,
honest.
you just said that because Quincy.
Peanut, you hear people talking about you. Get down.
Mm-mm-mm.
All right, well, we're off Selena now. So everybody, I hope you guys have a great trading week. I am definitely